good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Lee. I'm the Virtual Airline Pilot. Back with the first of this week's review. We've got 3 this week. Quite a busy week. Hope to get them all out for you. We're looking at LEEDS BRADFORD today by Inibuilds, and then later we'll be looking at the Sofia Bulgaria version 2 update by fthe. And finally, I've been sent a pre-release copy of Salzburg by RD Presets. The product's actually out now, but I've got the release copy and we'll have a look at that too. But today we're back in the UK. We're up in LEEDS BRADFORD, up in North Yorkshire. And this is LEEDS BRADFORD International Airport, Echo Golf November Mike. It's a payware scenery by Inibuilds, and we're looking at version 1.0.1 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. The download is 1.61 gigs and it installs at 3.67 gigs, so reasonably substantial, but as you can see from this shot they've packed quite a lot in. Sceneries available from Sim Market and from the Inibuilds shop. It's slightly cheaper at the Inibuilds shop, but they don't actually advertise the prices with VAT, whereas Sim Market do. So I'll give you the Sim Market price. It's €15.59, which equates to $16.81 US or £13.31 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are all estimates from the euro, and they include tax or VAT, which may vary depending on the country you're in when you make your purchase. All I can tell you for those of us in the UK, at the Inibuilds shop it's currently £9.99, excluding VAT, so you need to add VAT to that. So let's look at the features. Okay, so the key features of this scenery. You have handmade ground textures with crisp, bespoke texture sets, and they include runways, aprons, paths and roads. True-to-life airport landside recreation with custom ground decals, signposts, vegetation, parking barriers and more. Accurately modelled and positioned dynamic airport lighting. Highly detailed models of all airport buildings, objects and surroundings. Up-to-date airport layout reflecting the current real-world location. Custom-built jetways with realistic variations using PBR texturing and animations. The level of detail, or LOD, optimization for every model for best performance possible. The use of the latest Microsoft SDK features for the best optimization and performance. And you have the full Manager compatibility to configure your scenery for the best possible performance for your system. So basically use the Manager to install it, and then after install you can actually decide what features you want to keep and what you don't want to keep. You also have bespoke taxi signage as it is in the real world, and they've also included an official GSX Pro profile as well. So quite a bit to look at, quite a bit's been done, as we would expect. Inibuilds is now sort of one of the top developers, and interesting to see they've taken on a UK airport. So those are the features. Let's look at some history. Okay, history, but before we start, here you've got a vehicle going down the runway pretty slowly, another one about to enter. I don't think they go the full length, but many of you who watch my videos know how I will feel about vehicles going onto a live runway effectively, especially pretty much the only runway they use. So let's get on with the history for you. So LEEDS BRADFORD Airport, Echo Golf November Mike, is a public use airport owned by the AMP Capital Group and operated by LEEDS BRADFORD Airport Limited. The airport is located in Egnm in the City of Leeds Metropolitan District in West Yorkshire, England, about 7 miles or 11 kilometres northwest of Leeds City Centre and about 9 miles or 14 kilometres northeast from Bradford City Centre. It serves Leeds and Bradford and the wider Yorkshire region, including York, Wakefield and Harrogate, and is the largest airport in Yorkshire. The airport was in public ownership until May 2007, when it was bought by the Bridgeport Capital for £145 million. Bridgeport sold it in 2017 to AMP Capital, who now run it. The airport opened in October 1931 when it was known as Leeds and Bradford Municipal Aerodrome, or Yeadon Aerodrome. Some local people still refer to it as Yeadon Airport. Largely used for general aviation and training purposes to begin with, the first scheduled flights commenced in April 1935. And to accommodate passenger traffic, work commenced on building the first terminal in the late 1930s, although only the first wing was completed before the Second World War. A new runway opened in 1965, and after Yaden's terminal was destroyed in a fire, a replacement was completed in 1968. In the early 1980s, runway extensions were completed that enabled it to be classified as a regional airport. In November 1984, the day the runway extension was open, Wardair commenced transatlantic flights to Toronto using Boeing 747 jumbo jets. On the 2nd of August in 1986, an Air France Concorde charter flight from Paris landed for the first time, drawing an estimated crowd of 70,000 people. More Concorde charter flights took place until 2000. In 1994, the airport's operational hour restrictions were removed, enabling flights at any time of the day. Since 1996, the terminal has been expanded in terms of size and facilities. In 2007, nearly 2.9 million passengers passed through the airport. Leeds Bradford Airport has a CAA public use aerodrome licence allowing flights for passenger transport and for flight training. The airport operates to many domestic and European destinations. It is the highest airport in England at an elevation of 681 feet or 208 metres. In 2018, Leeds Bradford was the 15th busiest airport in the UK and is a base for the airline JETWAY, which has its headquarters on the airport. By 2022, the airport handled over 3 million passengers and nearly 26,000 aircraft movements. So there you go, folks, a bit of history for you. The airport's been around for a while and has grown from a basic aerodrome into something a bit more substantial. It's now an international airport. So, having done that, let's look at the runway situation here. Okay, so runways. We've lowered the lighting. As you can see, it's now 5 to 5 in the late afternoon. It's middle of February 2024. So Leeds Bradford Airport operates a single runway, 1432, measuring 7,382 feet or 2,250 metres, and it's constructed from concrete. The airport lies at an elevation of 681 feet or 208 metres, and it sits within the GMT UTC time zone. So it's actually GMT right now, and in the summer when we go forward an hour it basically becomes +1. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 14, which features high intensity runway lighting, high intensity airfield lighting system, centerline lighting and precision approach path indicators. It says here on the right side, let me just double check that. Yeah, okay. So that's one little mistake. The chart for runway 14 says the PAPIs are on the right, where obviously here they show they're on the left. But apart from that, pretty much everything else is okay. You've got the approach lighting here, which again is shown on the chart, and you've got a displace threshold. You've also got runway end identifier lighting. There's the centerline lighting, but the PAPIs, according to the chart, should be on the right. So one small mistake there. Approach options for this runway: you have a standard instrument landing system with Y and Z localizer DME approach options. You also have an NDB approach, again with Y and Z approach options on this runway. So let's go and have a look at the other end, runway 32. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 32, which again features high intensity runway lighting, high intensity airfield lighting, centerline lighting. Additionally, they have touchdown zone lighting at this end, and again precision approach path indicators, this time on the left side, and here they've got it correct. You've also got the massive approach lighting system, which again is on the charts, so everything is correct about this runway. Approach options for landing at this end: you have an instrument landing system with an NDB ILS DME or localizer DME. You also have the ILS is certified for Category 2 and Category 3 low visibility ops, so you can land here in near zero visibility, providing the aircraft and the pilot are rated for Category 3 visibility landings. But anyway, you've got an ILS at this runway with a DME, and you've got Category 2 and Category 3 low vis ops. You also have an NDB DME approach option as well. So that's runways for you. They're all correct except that the PAPIs at the other end are on the wrong side. They should be on the right side and not the left, according to the charts. And the chart I have, a Navigraph chart, is dated July 2023. So I don't know of anything newer than that. But that does it for runways. Let's go down now and do a jetway test. Okay, jetways at Leeds Bradford. Okay, so here we are on stand 8. And we're going to look at this from a slightly different position because the wheels are on this side. So I want to see how this jetway reacts. So let's connect the jetway. Right, so that rises up. And the wheels actually don't even touch the concrete. To be honest, that looks like a reasonably decent connection. Let's have a look from the other side. That's pretty flush. So let's go inside now. So there we are inside. That's probably one of the best most flush jetway connections I've seen. No gaps at the bottom here or at the sides. Hasn't gone into the aircraft itself. And it's pretty flush here as well. Okay, a slight gap at the top, but I've seen that at real airports. So let's open the door. And there you go, the door opens without infringing the jetway at all. Let's have a look from inside the aircraft. So here we are inside the aircraft looking at the closed end of the jetway, which is pretty impressive. So, as you can see, the jetway has been nicely modelled, complete with the various hoardings on the side. Let's disconnect it, we'll look at it from this side. As ever, the hood springs back like every one of them does. And the jetway is moving really well, it's very well done. There it goes, all the way back, it's well clear of the aircraft. Well clear, it works fine. So there you go, that was jetways for you. You can see we have 2 jetways at Leeds Bradford. And yeah, that works really well, very, very good connection. So we've done that now, let's leave that and go to the airport proper and do a real tour, have a close look at it. Well, welcome back folks. As you can see, we're back at the airport here. Here's my aircraft parked on stand 8 with the jetway connected. I've actually connected it for a second time and it still connects perfectly. And we have the tug on as well. And interestingly enough, positioning is good enough that the tug actually doesn't infringe with the ground power unit here. Now there's a lot to see at this airport. I'll just give you a few high-level shots of some areas around the airport that you guys can explore yourself. For this review I'm going to concentrate on the airport itself, the central area, which is what you pilots are interested in, but there's more to explore here. So let's just cover a couple of shots around the airport and I'll show you what else is here. So firstly, here's the Leeds Bradford Airport Industrial Estate, which is just to the northeast, literally behind the airport to the east, which they've created here and you can go and have a look at. As you can see, some fine detail here, so plenty for you to explore in this area. And here you can see they've also modelled the caravan park. And here you've got the Sentinel off-airport parking, which lies to the southeast of the terminal area. And as you can see, masses of cars parked here. And just a quick high-level shot here. There you can see the tunnel that goes under the runway and comes out the other end. I've obviously got the traffic going so you can see it. I don't think the tunnel is modelled all the way through, but what they have done, I think, is they've given an effect on it. We'll have a look at that quickly. So there's the tunnel this side. Okay, with the cars coming in and out of it, doesn't really work quite well, but when you look at it like that, it's not too bad. You can see they've sort of given this image here on the tunnel ends that makes it look as though you can see through the tunnel. Now, I'm aware that actually you can go through tunnels. The simulation does allow developers to create tunnels that you can actually pass through. But they've chosen to do it this way, and that's fine. It's perfect. Looks perfectly okay. Let's have a look at the other end, which actually will be in sunlight. So there's a view of the other end, which is, it's quite nice. The modelling is really good. Got the signage there to the right. There's the airport fence line, and yeah, it looks nice. So as you can see from this shot, more things to explore. Certainly here on the central eastern side. The east apron is there below us, various helicopter spots. So let's get down to the terminal area. Let's have a run across the ramp and see what it looks like. So as we go past the tunnel entrance there, you've got signage on the right and the windsock on the left. And here we are coming up to one of the taxiways. And the building construction looks really good. It's really nicely done and modelled and weathered. There's the fire station down there to the left. Come down a bit lower. Some tugs and various dollies, but there's de-icing vehicles there. There's the control tower with the signage on it. We'll look at that in a minute. And it all looks pretty good. The detail is really good. Weathering, texturing, all looks really impressive. Here we go, touring across the ramp here. Royal Air Maroc, E-Jet below us there. And a car park there to landside. And here you've got plenty of parking, weathered apron. It looks great, it really does. There's the Jet2 office. And here's the fuel farm. In fact, no, my mistake, it's not the fuel farm, that's the de-icing centre. So a quick look at some of the taxiways and some of the signage. And there you can see we've got a slope there towards the runway. So they've actually terraformed this in such a way that it matches the real airport, which indeed does have slopes on it. And as you can see, the signage is good, crisp, clear, on their own plinths, which I think is going to look good at night, to be honest. So as we come back to the main ramp area airside, it looks pretty good. Let's have a look at the control tower. Very nicely modelled. You've got the name on the airport there. The misted glass looks really good. You've even got the CCTV cameras. Let's pop inside. So here we have a fully modelled control tower, probably one of the most modelled towers I have seen. You've got everything here, right down to the floor carpet, the texture on the desktop. All the computers, everything's done. But as ever, the one thing that's missing is a controller or two sitting in the building. I really don't understand why they go to this length and just don't put a body in here. Sorry, but there you go. Beautifully modelled inside of the tower. The misted glass works really well, certainly looking out of it. And there you can see out across the airfield, it looks really good. See, look, they've even got the stairwell going down here and the air conditioning vent, a couple of mugs, coffee machine. The detail here is excellent. It's a really nicely modelled in control tower interior, but it needs a controller. Sorry, it needs a controller. So a close-up view of the terminal from airside and the main ramp here, and it looks great. Really does look great. And here you can see the attention to detail is really good. You've got everything, all of the signs are there, they're really clear. Got got the help box there with the phone inside, emergency exit sign, and there you go, looking down the airside road. It all looks pretty impressive. And just a view in the other direction. I mean, it looks great. But as I said, the one thing I think that would really make this airport is just having a few engineers or airport staff visible airside. Let's go into the terminal. So here's the inside of Gate 8. This is the gate that my aircraft is attached to. Again, really nicely detailed and modelled environment, but with no people at all, no airline staff. There really should be, but we'll see. And here's the interior of the restaurant and lounge airside, which again looks wonderful. Look at the detail, really impressive. Detail is just wonderful. The tables and chairs, the carpet, the additions on each table. There's the bar. I mean, the modelling here is stunning. But no people, no bartender, nobody sitting down. This airport, or certainly at the moment, this is crying out for people. It looks lovely, it really does. And there's the view looking out towards my aircraft. So here's the other side, and as you can see, they've even got a departures board, which when you get up close is still crystal clear. And a quick view looking out across through the windows. So here we are inside Arrivals airside. These are sometimes where you can come down if the aircraft's parked on a stand that doesn't have a jetway. You come down and walk across the road and you go in through these doors to Arrivals. And this is the lower level airside, and the escalator going up. And while we're here, here's the view from inside the flight deck during the day if you park up on stand 8. View from the captain's side, and a view across from the first officer's side. So here we are at the sort of far northwest end of the terminal building itself. Really nicely modelled interior. Got the restrooms there and waste disposal. And you've even got this food dispensing machine, which looks quite good. The image there is of a high enough resolution that it works when we're close up. Okay, so a couple of views landside now. Let's look at the landside part of the terminal. And it looks pretty impressive. Very clear signage, beautifully done. And even the cars are of good quality. Here we're really close up. You've got this Porsche down here, which looks really good. And just looking across the terminal landside, oh, it's great, isn't it? It really is good. There you've got the various bus stops. Again, I really like the fact that they've done this in 3D and not left it to photo real. This is all nice and crisp, just as it should be. And you've got the slope here. So they've modelled this pretty accurately. And just a shot across the landside area there. I mean, everything has been done right down to the radio masts here on the roof of the building. There's the terminal entrance down there. Or rather, yeah, the airport entrance itself. This is beautiful, it really is. So let's go inside of the terminal, and it looks like we have some people there. So again, really clear signage, even up close. And look at this. It's very good. This is exactly what you want. We could do with some of these airside. Very nice indeed. And once again, excellent departures board that is crystal clear even up close. This is nice. Plenty of people. It's really nice. You've got check-in desks here, beautifully detailed, complete with baggage drops and everything, but no airline staff. I mean, that's a great view, and it is really nice to see a few people here. And as you could see, for me, no effect on the frame rate or the motion of the camera, but you know, where you've got people, would be nice to have at least one or maybe two check-in staff here by the baggage drops. So let's just travel slowly back this way. I mean, this looks great, it really does, and this is the atmosphere that an airport wants. It's very nicely done. Currency exchange, all of this has been done. It's really nice. I mean, look at this. The modelling is brilliant. And once again, fully modelled and detailed check-in desks and check-in area, but no staff. It's excellent, it really is. So here you can see some parallaxing. They've chosen not to develop this part of the terminal. And the same again here, and it looks reasonably good actually, not really a problem at all. So a couple of shots across the airside ramp. Here you can see some tugs and some baggage dollies, all liveried up for Jet 2. And here you've got some beautifully modelled Swissport tugs, and there you can see baggage going round on a baggage carousel. I mean, that's a nice touch. There's the fire station with the appropriate fire tenders. I believe these are called Scorpions. We had these at Gatwick when I worked there and at Heathrow. And again, they're nicely modelled, even up close, and they have the airport logos on the side. And you can see they've done the interior of the fire station too, which looks nice. And here, just a high-level overview. You can see a couple of snow vehicles down here as well. They do tend to get some snowy weather up here. I have to say, I do like the way this tunnel thing is modelled. Would have been nice to see it properly through with lighting. That would be great, but no, it's fine. It looks good. And the whole place sits really well in the countryside and the surroundings. And there's an overview. I mean, it looks really, really good. So that was it during the daytime. Let's lower the light down now and have a look at the dynamic lighting and see just how good it is. Okay, 5:10 in the evening. It's mid-February 2024, and you can see the lighting came on about 2 or 3 minutes ago, and it's lovely. It's really subtle. You have some very good lighting, both landside and airside. Nice to see the moving vehicles all lit as well. There you've got blue airfield edge lights as well, which looks good. And again, unfortunately, we have vehicles roaming around on the runway. He's actually stationary here. This one's coming out as well. This is an unfortunate issue. I hear some developers saying they can't do much about it, but fortunately some developers actually do. Don't know why or how, but unfortunately this will cause issues if you want to land here. But for the moment I'm going to ignore it. It's a real pet peeve of mine, but there you go. We just deal with it, I think, really. So let's get a close-up look at the ramp itself. So here's my aircraft on stand 8, and as you can see, the lighting inside the terminal gives a really good effect. It's just a real pity there's no people, with no passengers. We really need some people in here. I mean, they've done it landside, it looks great, and it has no impact on the motion and the frame rate. And I think just to bring this airport to life, it really wouldn't take much to put a few nicely placed people in here, 1 or 2 controllers in the control tower, and the odd airport staff member, you know, an airline girl possibly by one of these doors, would be great. You just need the appropriate staff and the appropriate people in the various places. You don't need to flood the place. I've recently looked at an airport where they have loads of people, and it's of course had no effect at all on the motion or the issues, but it just makes the airport look great. Once again, view from the flight deck. As you can see, there's the terminal head. This is what you're going to see when you park up. Oh, it looks great. It really does look good. We do need some people, unfortunately. Static or dynamic, it doesn't matter. Even static people would help. And yeah, maybe an airline staff girl down here by the crossway, because you've got arrivals. And yeah, these are just all. This whole thing is so beautifully modelled. It's crying out for passengers. The view out the captain's side, looking down the airside road there. This is where the baggage hall entrance would be. The tugs would go in there to deliver the arrival baggage. And then you are looking outside the first officer's window. So just a very slow tour of the airside road complex here. Just to let you have a look at the detail. It's been beautifully done, it really has. It's exquisite, and there you go, look, baggage going round on a baggage carousel. It's really, really good. It's very nice indeed. Really have no complaints, apart from the lack of people to bring it to life. It's just, you know, it's a ghost town when you've got no people. There's a control tower. I love the sign, it's beautifully lit. You've got the mandatory red light on the top there. And as we go inside the tower, look at that, that's stunning. You know, but you need a controller, you really do. And what a view, it's great, it really is. So again, you see the lighting has been beautifully done. When you look through the windows there, you can see the lights, you can see the food shop there. There's the baggage carousel going around. No Asobo globes floating around, lights all from the correct source. And there are the baggage cart dollies things. It's just brilliant. Here's the fire station, again beautifully lit inside and pretty much on the outside as well. You've got the signage on the door, some parallaxing here. There's the flashing stop sign, which isn't flashing at the moment, but that's what you have there to stop airside traffic going along when the fire station is coming out. And some really nice parallaxing there on these windows to give the right effect. And once again, even the small insignificant buildings have been nicely done with a bit of parallaxing and some very nice lighting. So let's quickly look at some of the taxiway signage. There we've got WIGWAGS, and you've got the entrance approach to the runway there, and the signage is good. And as we go up towards the threshold of the runway there, runway 14, I mean, this looks nice. The off-airport bits and pieces are well lit. You've got signage up there by where the runway is as well. Okay, so here we are at the tunnel, and this is the first time we see some Asobo globes. But that looks good, doesn't it? It actually looks more real at the dusk time than it does during the day, but it's really good. So here's the threshold of runway 14. Green centerline lights. It's great, it's just what you need. And you've even got these little insignificant buildings off airport here that have been nicely lit as well. Well, there's a high level overview showing you the airport industrial estate there behind. And here you've got all of these caravans. Again, some nice subtle lighting that really just does the job. So that was a dusk tour. Let's drop it down to night time now and have a look at the lighting generally. Okay, 10 PM local time. And this is interesting. Here we've got the PAPIs. I think those are the PAPIs, and they're flashing. They should be static. So I've just come back a bit here. Here you've got the approach to runway 14. There are the PAPIs. They shouldn't be flashing. I don't know why they are. But anyhow, there they go. So a couple of quick shots around the ramp. As you can see, the lighting has come up slightly, which is nice. It's not as prolific as I thought it might be. You're coming off the green centre line lights here, will take you into the apron, but you've got this dark area here which you will need to navigate using your nose gear light. But it all looks pretty nice. The lighting generally is a very nice or very good order. All of the signs here are lit, and the glow is there as well that comes off the signage, which gives a certain sense of reality. And there, as you look down the other end, as you can see, plenty of lighting. I mean, it all looks pretty good. No asobo globes. Airside, certainly. So here's my aircraft on stand 8, and as you can see, the lighting has come up ever so slightly, and you've got a really nice view inside the terminal airside there. And just a very quick view from inside the flight deck. I've just angled it slightly so you can see. I mean, that looks fine. It really does. It's a nice view to see. All in all, it's really nice. And a view a little bit closer. Very nice. Not bad at all. I really quite like that. So this is the entrance to the airport, which actually looks a bit dark, to be honest, but there you go, that might be the way it is in the real world. So a couple of shots landside for you, and again, this looks beautiful at night time. It's been very well done. And we're looking across the car park, not an asobo globe in sight. And again, some really good car models, all in their right places, looks great. Just a close-up shot of this end of the terminal. This is the part that, all of the terminal interior has been modelled to a really high standard. But this part, you've only got people in this part here. The rest of it is like a ghost town, unfortunately. And there's no people out landside waiting for taxis or buses. But the view inside the building from outside looks good. So here's a shot landside looking inside the departures and arrivals area inside the terminal. It looks really nice. I love it. And you've got some people, which gives it the atmosphere. I would like to see some static or the odd dynamic people. Some people out here, you know, waiting for cabs or crossing into the car park. Now that's interesting. I thought basically I had a look inside here. Most of this building didn't seem to be done at all. But it would appear that landside upper level lounge has been done, and you've got a guy there. And there we are inside, nicely lit, beautifully done, and you've got a chat with his girlfriend or his wife. And again, very nicely modelled lounge. Really nice. Just an overview there. And you know, you get a really good sense of just how detailed this airport is. And look, they've even modelled the bits and pieces and the intricacies of the work on top of the roof of the terminal. The air conditioning ducts and other things that you would find when the engineers go up here to service things. It's all been modelled. The airport's been modelled to a really high standard. And there we are looking towards the north. You've got a lovely view with the moon crescent there. And there you've got the various buildings here. You've got the internal baggage system here. There's the fire station. And the other buildings all lit up. It's lovely. It's really nice. And there's an overview from landside. Oh, it just looks great. It really does, doesn't it? So let's bring the dawn up. If I've done this right, the sun should come up behind me. Okay, so with the sun coming up behind me, it's 7:45 in the morning, and you can see we've got this nice red glow on the building, which looks really, really quite nice. Okay, so 9:30 in the morning, and time to give you my thoughts and views on this airport. So right off the bat, it's a lovely airport. It's been beautifully modelled. It's of a decent size, both the physical terms of the airport itself and its environment, and in terms of the download and installation. It's great. They've done an awful lot and packed it into an installation that is under 4 gigs, which is really nice. And as you can see, as we've seen, lots of little touches off the airport. Place looks beautiful at dusk and night time, and it's really, really good. Do I think it's worth the price? Absolutely, yeah. 16 euros, or under 16 euros, or $17 US, or just under 14 quid, which is actually a little bit less at Inibuilds' own shop when you add the tax, which may vary here and there slightly, but it's a really competitive price. They've done an awful lot. The one thing that stands out here, the one big criticism I have right at the top of the list, is the people. They've done a really nice job with this little part of the terminal here where they've got people airside waiting and sitting around, and it looks good. But as I've said in 1 or 2 previous videos, we now have people models that look really good, and they have practically no effect on frame rate. So now you can start loading airports with people in various places. I'm not talking about just swamping it around, but Flight Simulator 2020 is a really, really good version of our favourite sim with fantastic modelling capabilities. You've only got to look at places like Bora Bora in Tahiti, airports like this, and what Pyro Dev Company has achieved. It's absolutely amazing what could be done. So it's a real horrible thing to leave out the one thing that brings an airport to life, and that's passengers. You can now have airport staff dressed in yellow jackets and stuff, airline staff as well at the gates and check-in, and passengers both animated and static, and they don't affect the frame rate at all, but they bring the airport to life. When you come in and you park up here at any one of these stands, it just looks good. You've got vehicles going around, but it looks really good when you look out the window and you've got an airline girl there waiting for the passengers to come off. Okay, if you've got GSX Pro and it works well, then yeah, you've got something like that. But looking through the terminal windows from inside the aircraft, a beautiful view, stunningly done, but no people. That is my big bear with this airport. But so if they update this airport and they add some people in the way that I've described, it would make it top notch, fantastic, be up there with the top ones. Not saying for one moment Inibuilds isn't up there with the top ones. They are. They're a very, very good developer, and they're getting bigger, better all the time. And thankfully they also showcase products from other really good developers as well. So Inibuilds is always a good place to go for good quality scenery. But when you've modelled an airport to this standard, the control tower internally is one of the best internal control towers I've seen modelled in a long time. The detail is amazing. Why not put a controller in there just to finish it off? I see this a lot, where they've done 95% of the airport in such an amazing detail, and they've forgotten or just not bothered with the other 5%. So guys, if you're watching this video, update, add some people in the right places, grab some models. It would really just bring it to life. But apart from that, I have no other gripe except for the vehicles going into the runway. I don't know how much they can do about that. Some developers have managed to avoid it and yet still have vehicles going around, airport buses and stuff like that. And other developers aren't able to do that. So but I'm not a developer myself, so I can only say that I've seen some developers who've managed to stop it and still have moving buses airside and stuff like that, and others that can't for some reason. So I know it's possible, but as I said, the big thing that would really make this airport would be adding people in the right places. But that said, modelling is great. It sits in a lovely part of the country. You're going to enjoy this place, coming flying in and out of here. And a very, very competitive price, just under 13 quid. It is a really, really competitive price. Wonderful. So there you are, folks. Leeds Bradford International Airport. It's now an international airport in the UK. Echo Golf November Mike. It's a payware scenery by Inibuilds, and currently this is version 1.0.1 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. Let's hope they bring out version 1.2 with all the people and airport staff that it's missing. The download's 1.61 gigs and it installs at 3.67 gigs. It's available from SimMarket and the Inibuilds shop. I've seen it slightly cheaper at the Inibuilds shop, although their advertised prices don't include tax. You'll need to add the tax depending on where you are to get the final price. But I'll give you the SimMarket prices, which include tax or VAT. €15.59, which equates to $16.81 US approximately, or £13.31 UK. US and UK prices are all estimates from those euro prices, and they do include tax or VAT, which, as I've said, may vary depending on the country you're in when you make your purchase. It's a stunning airport, very nicely modelled, loads to talk about and loads to see off airport that I haven't touched. But Inibuilds, if you're watching this, please think carefully about my ideas about adding some people in the appropriate places. Would look so much better. Guys, thank you for joining me. I apologise, well in fact no, I don't apologise for ranting on about people, because it's important. I think it's important. But I hope you've enjoyed the review. I hope it's given you some idea of what this airport is like and how well it's been modelled. It is one of the top modelled airports. Control tower internally is stunning. And the inside of the terminal, most of that, 70% of it has been modelled inside. Looks beautiful when you look in from the outside at night and at dusk. And as you can see, it's lovely countryside up here in the north of England in Yorkshire, and the airport sits really well within the default countryside. Looks fantastic. So thank you for joining me, folks. Here's the end of another review. Stay with me this week. We've got reviews of Sofia Airport in Bulgaria, version 2 coming up. I'm getting I had the pre-release version, but RD Presets are very kindly going to send me the full version of Salzburg, so we'll do a full review of that too, all coming this week at some point during this week. Thanks for joining me, folks. Again, hope you enjoyed it. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot. Take care, have a great week and a good weekend coming up, and safe flights. So bye for now.